Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your boy B-Diz, the rock star part of SuperObvious.
I am Werds Illah.
And we are talking about Power Season 6, Episode 10, entitled No One Can Stop Me. It's the mid-season finale, guys.
It's getting serious, guys.
Wow. The episode opens with Ghost sitting on his bed. He makes a call to Tariq and leaves a voicemail saying that he wants to meet and talk about the words that they had at the end of last episode.
Yeah, basically telling him, hey, son, you're a bitch, without saying those words.
Without saying it. His phone rings and it's Ramona.
Oh, she's telling him to check the news about the announcement for him to be a part of Walsh's campaign now.
He turns the TV and we see the guy on the news explaining the details of Ghost, and he seems happy. It's good news.
He's elated. You can tell it on his face. For once, we're seeing Ghost really smile like, it looks like a real smile.
Yeah.
Not like a fake one, like get somebody to stab him in the back later.
He looks happy. We don't see that very often, it seems like. We go to the Department of Justice where Warner runs into Sax, and the first thing that he asks Sax is, how the fuck did you get in here?
Basically, he's like, bro, you don't fucking work for this place anymore. Like, how did you even fucking get in? He's like, basically, well, I mean, he still works. He's like, well, I'm gonna make sure that they take that badge from you once I get security in here to get you the fuck out of here.
Sax talks to him on how Ghost and Tommy and others are still out there. Sax asks if they have searched Ghost's spot yet. Warner says no.
He's like, why would I do that for?
Oh, he asks Sax if he's on medication, and does he need medication?
Yeah, he probably needs medication.
Sax is about to leave, and there's two guys to escort him out, and he says, if you put a finger on me, I'm gonna punch you in the dick.
And the dicks, plural. There's two dicks involved, I guess, that would be punched.
Next, we have Ghost is having lunch with Ramona and Walsh. They talk about some of Ghost's backstory and some of the specifics on what they're going to do with the QCP.
Yeah, they're basically saying that they need that to be their end because of his past. You know, he says he's been upfront about the things he did in his past and that he wants to make amends for it. So they're saying that QCP project will be the reason why they can push forward with him being the running mate, being the lieutenant governor.
And when he gives the information that how that whole project is kind of at a standstill, Loretta Walsh seems very turned off, and that's almost like the deal breaker.
Yeah, she basically right out says like, yeah, you know, Rashard Tate is at the top of my list if this doesn't work out.
Basically, Ghost would kick to the curb. Oh, Ghost goes to a property and talks to his uncle Gabe about the building. Ghost says he should sell him. His uncle says nobody has given him a good offer. He writes out a check and gives it to him, and Uncle Gabe seems like he likes it, but then he still says no.
Yeah, he's like, you're not gonna shut this club down, you know, just to turn it into whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? This is a staple in the neighborhood, we can't have that happen.
And Ghost explains how the place could be used for kids to teach them about music and poetry, and how the place is already kind of set up where the kids, that if they're there, they can perform.
Yeah, because he says Raina wanted to be a singer, and he said he had a daughter, so he said, you know, this would be perfect, she would have loved this. And then you can kind of tell that that's when he says something to her. He says Jamie, I think he says his name. And then he's like, oh, you recognize me. He's like, I knew as soon as you walked in here who you were.
And Ghost laughs.
Yeah.
We see Ghost laughing.
Like serious laughs are going on with Ghost.
He's like happier than he was in the last scene.
Yeah.
And they give each other a hug.
He's basically telling them to make it, this place, to make it great. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and make it your own and turn it into this great place that you say you're going to turn it into.
Next, we have Warner talking shit about Sax to Rodriguez. She kind of backs him up when she tells Warner about how her and Sax found Silver, and further says how can a female break Silver's neck and stuff him into a car when Silver was a really big guy.
Yeah, he's like 6 foot, 200-something pounds.
Oh, Warner says that she is starting to sound like Sax.
And that's not a compliment.
It's not a good thing, guys.
Yeah.
Next thing, we have Sax and Rodriguez go to Tate's campaign. They tell him that they are investigating James St. Patrick, and that makes Tate interested.
Yes. At first he's like, no interviews, and then when he hears who they are, he's like, oh yes, well what can I do to help? And basically you see Sax is coercing him to basically, he's giving him information for him to say what he wants him to say, basically. And of course Tate takes the bait. Sorry, I did that there. And they go off, and they basically are going outside afterwards, and Rodriguez is looking at Sax like, are you trying to fuck me for real? Like, if I go in front of a judge with all this stuff you did is illegal, like, you're gonna have me fucked. And he just looks at her and he's like, I mean, do you want to have a career or not? Like, do you want to win this or not?
Yeah, Rodriguez pretty much goes off on Sax because when they were talking to Tate, Sax kept trying to talk to Tate, ask him certain things, and Rodriguez kept trying to stop him in between it, and he wasn't listening. So when they go outside, Rodriguez pretty much chews him.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, what they were also talking about was why did Tasha leave the way she left or whatever, and why what was her demeanor basically, and he gives up the information about that basically. or leads them into a direction after they've given him information. He's just like, oh yeah, he looked like he was really intense and he was angry about, you know, he had told me he was mad about finding out that she was sleeping with Silver.
And then also, when Saxe is getting chewed out by Rodriguez, she talks about like, hey, you know, you just being there and the way you're getting some of this evidence, basically how they just talked to Tate, like this can literally fuck up everything she tried to do in her career.
Exactly.
And Saxe probably doesn't care about that.
Not at all.
Next, we have Ghost and Simon talking at his club where Ghost admits he was wrong about Tate, which is something that Simon wanted him to really admit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now that he did, everything's fine now.
Yeah, because Simon kept saying to him, I keep trying to tell you, I'm your only real friend in this. Don't you understand? And he's like, well, won't you tell me what a friend is? And he's like, well, when you get into Albany, I've got some development properties I'd like you to look at. And he was like, we'll be in touch.
Next scene, we have Ghost walking down the street where someone is watching him, but we don't see who it is.
Yeah.
Ghost is at his spot getting in chill mode. He texts Ramona to meet him at the club in an hour. He sees Angie.
Mm-hmm. He's at his hotel is where he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in his hotel and he sees a ghost of Angie and they have a quick discussion about what's going on and that he's moving forward. And now he's got feelings for Ramona. She's asking, have you told her yet? He's like, no, but you know, I just want to make sure that everything is right. You know, and Angie's like basically telling him, well, don't do what you did with me, basically. You know, she's not from the neighborhood, so, you know, don't tell her everything, you know, and you can move forward, you can do this, you can be the pure side of you.
And then she asks, like, well, you know, do you like her? Are you gonna be with her? And like,
he's basically like, yeah, but he can't let her go.
Yeah, and he's saying like how he likes Ramona and a life could be cool, but it wouldn't be like how it would be if Ghost and Angie were together.
Afterwards, after they finish up their little conversation, he gets that text message from Ramona, and she's basically saying that I will see you soon. So that's when he goes to meet Ramona at the club, and he's gonna he wants to confess his feelings for her, basically, so to speak. And he kisses her. Well, she's so happy about the fact that he found the new site. He found the site for the QCP,
yeah.
And so she's excited about that, hugs him, and after she hugs him, she just kisses him. And she's kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. He tries to apologize, but then he grabs her and he kisses her. They give a long kiss or whatever, and he's just like, you know, I've been waiting a long time to do this.
Oh, next scene we have Rodriguez and some people doing a search at Ghost's spot, which looks super illegal, sketch.
Absolutely.
Not by the book.
Yeah. They said it was called a peep in something. It's like, you can go in, you can touch stuff, but you gotta leave it exactly where it was. You can't actually remove anything, and if they get caught, then they're all fucked anyways.
They find some shoes that have some dirt samples on them.
I'm saying it's from the same site from the original groundbreaking from the QCP.
And then they also find the cell phone that Dre planted at Ghost's spot.
Silver's phone.
We go to Walsh giving a introduction of Ghost as a running mate, and when Ghost walks on stage, he gets a huge response from everyone that's there. He looks like a rock star.
He does.
He explains on trying to make New York better, and seems very, very popular with the public.
And in the crowd, you can see Tommy kind of is walking up, and you see him in the back just staring, and you know, he doesn't look too happy. I can say he doesn't look like he's in a happy camper.
We see him for a little bit, and then he just leaves.
He just disappears.
Ghost and Ramona leave and are excited on what just happened. We see again that someone is looking at Ghost from a car, but we don't know who it is. So it's the second time this has happened. Next, we go to the cemetery where Ghost visits his daughter's gravesite. He gives her some details, kind of updates her with what's been going on. And he's about to leave where Tasha's there, and he's like, well, what are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm here like every week. What are you doing here?
Yeah, basically. You know, calling him out again on his shit, you know what I'm saying? And he basically tries to, you know, apologize yet again about the situation that happened with them in the apartment the other day. And she's just like, well, I don't give a fuck or whatever. And it leads him to basically going on to saying that I'm going to release you from our marriage.
And Tasha's reaction was, I'm not really sure how to take what her reaction looked like.
Yeah, I think everybody's so confused because normally they would know what to react as. They would be angry because he's fucked up yet again, he's trying to find his way out of it. But it almost looks like they're like, well, he kind of is actually straight and narrow now. He actually is doing, so they're confused on how they're supposed to react now. Now he's saying that he's going to be moving forward with the situation, and she can go on and be a Green, which is her original last name, and you know, just move forward with your life.
Next scene at the Department of Justice, Rodriguez and Warner talk about Ghost's enemies. She shows him some dirt samples and also Silver's phone. Warner is upset and why Ghost would do all the stuff he's accused of and keep the phone.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like somebody who just got exonerated of a potential being charged of a murder of a AUSA agent, and now he's doing this.
And when Warner walks away, he tells Rodriguez to bring Sax to him. Next scene, we have Tate coming into Ghost's club, Truth, and talks about passing his background check. He wants to warn Ghost. He wanted to shake his hand to congratulate him, and Tate says being a sore loser isn't him.
Yeah, it's just not in his character. He says at this rate, I've been able to learn how to lose, you know, because it's who I have to be.
And then Ghost says losing is something that he's becoming an expert on.
Yeah, he's pretty good at losing. Yeah,
Ghost gets a text from Tariq before leaving. Ghost tells Tate that he always wins. He finds a way to win. Maybe Tate should quit politics and go back to being a cop.
Yeah, he said it was a lot more in there how he said it, but basically Ghost was feeling himself to a high level.
Talking that shit.
A lot.
Talking that high level shit.
A lot.
Oh my god. Next, Ghost and Tariq meet up. They briefly discuss what they talked about last episode. Tariq brings Dre in and Ghost is pissed that he is there.
Yeah.
Ghost wants Tariq to leave the room while him and Dre talk. Dre says he knows Ghost tried to frame him for Jason's murder and he knows Ghost killed him. Dre wants to get out of town. Ghost offers him $250K, which Dre says is not enough.
Yep.
And Ghost says that's his offer, that's what he has for him.
Yeah, he's like, because you came in here asking me for money, so I don't think you have any choices in this situation. You've got to do what I told you, because he's like, because that's when Dre says to him, he's like, well, how do I know I can trust you? And that's when he says all these things, like, you know, you don't have much of a choice, man. You either got to take my word or not, like, that you don't have anything to go on.
Ghost calls Dre a wannabe gangster.
Oh, yeah.
And Dre needs Ghost's help. Ghost says, I'll help you like the little bitch you are.
Little bitch. Yo, there's more shit talking at a high level.
We go to the guard at the front of the property.
Where Ghost killed Jason at, right? That's where they're at? Okay, yeah, they're at that property, right?
Ghost tells the guard to show the footage of Dre entering the building.
Go ahead and let that footage out about him being up there at that time.
We get a text from Tommy wanting to meet. Ghost packs his pistol and meets Tommy. Tommy knows Ghost didn't kill Keisha.
Yeah, he basically comes out and he's like, I know you didn't do it.
Tommy asks Ghost about the recording that Proctor had. They talk about setting each other up in the past.
And he was like, you know, that's just what this is, but you know, in the streets there are no friends. Remember, Kanan told us that, so. He was like, yeah, but I didn't think we were friends. You know, I think we're brothers. He's like, yeah, we're brothers, but that's still how it is. You know what I mean? That's still what happened.
And Ghost is about to leave, and Tommy's like, well, so that's it? You kind of just like get everything and you leave me with nothing?
Yeah, and he's basically like, yeah, I'm leaving you behind. I'm done with this. And he's like, no, you're not. And he's telling you you can't leave, and he pulls out a gun. And he's just about to shoot him, and right before he does, there's a gunshot that just splits them two up, basically.
Yeah. Yep, and they don't know who is shooting at them. And after the gunfight goes on for a little bit, Tommy just rushes into like the front entrance of like a warehouse building, whatever.
From where they're at, there's a building there that they're at.
Ghost is still outside for a little bit, and eventually after he feels like the coast is clear, he slowly goes into the building the way Tommy did. He calls out for Tommy, there's no response. He sees someone on the ground with their legs hanging out around the corner. Ghost gets close enough and sees that it's not Tommy.
But all we hear is sirens and we don't see Tommy. Tommy's already gone and that's it.
Next thing we have Warner questioning Sax about how the cell phone ended up in Ghost's spot. He questions if he planted the phone. Rodriguez explains to Warner and how Sax helped and gets outraged and says,
Jesus fucking Christ!
Are you out of your fucking mind?
It was good. You gotta hear it. It was good stuff.
Warner says that Sax isn't a cop right now and his presence can mess everything up with this case.
Rodriguez says that Sax played her for everything. And so he's like, well, no, you let him play. That's what Warner's telling her. And then you see Tamika starts to explain a lot of stuff to Warner about what's going on with this situation and how if they don't now follow through with this and get this case solved and be the ones on top of this, you know, doesn't it sound better for it to be that AUSA Warner and AUSA Rodriguez take down a drug lord rather than, you know, a new lieutenant governor who is a kingpin, you know, getting his chance or whatever. And basically she's like, well, what do you want the news headline to read? Would you rather it be that AUSA is indicted for pursuing justice or a Democratic candidate is sentenced to death under the kingpin statute? She looks at them and she's just like, I mean, you guys know what it's supposed to read. You know what you wanted to say.
Wow. Oh, we go to Ghost in his car where he sees Dre close by and the cops rush up on Dre and he gets arrested.
Yep.
And then Ghost drives off.
Yep, simple as that for that one.
Next we have Ghost with Vincent. Vincent gives him props on the announcement of his position in the campaign. Ghost has a gun to the back of Vincent's head, threatens to shoot him.
Yep, for that shit with Tariq.
And he turns him around and says that he needs a favor. And
what is he telling him? He's like, do you still have that friend inside of the Bureau of Prisons or whatever? And he's asking him, can you get a burner phone inside of one of these prisons?
Next we go to Ghost's club where Paz is there. She knows that Angie was not killed by Ghost.
Yeah, because she says the autopsy is showing obviously that she was shot from behind and from the front. So.
Oh, but she also said that you could have hired someone to do it.
Yeah, she's still weary because she's like, I know who you are, basically.
And then this is when Ghost kind of tells Paz like, hey man, you know me and Angie, we go way back. You know I had nothing but love for her. He wouldn't kill her.
Yeah. But she's still like, no, I mean, I don't believe you. Like, I know you loved her, but if you didn't do it, then you know who did it. And he's just like, he's still going along with the lie. I don't know who did it. I don't know what's going on. So she gets pissed the fuck off as per usual, and she walks out. Meanwhile, Ramona is behind the
it's pretty much like right around the corner.
Yeah, so she kind of hears most of what was just said. She comes around the corner. She's asking him about it, like what's going on. He's telling her that, you know, that was the USA Valdez, that was her sister, and you know she's upset obviously. And he was like, you know, you were so gentle with her, and you know I can't compete with the ghost. And he was like, oh no, you won't have to. She's like, well, what about, you know, there could be cops on you for, you know, situations and things that are going on or whatever, you know, aren't you afraid of that? And he was like, no, nothing's going on. She's like, well, I don't want to lie. Like that's what got me in positions that I was in with my last marriage was lies, you know. So I want us to be straightforward and no secrets. And he's like, no, I promise you, look, everything's okay, everything's fine. Okay, so after that, they're finished talking about their situation with what's going on with this lady Paz that was just in there. Basically, he gets a text from Tosh, and he's supposed to go and meet Tosh.
All right, next scene we have Tosh and Ghost meeting at their old spot. They look around and the place seems to be repaired, and Tosh gives Ghost a guilt trip, which makes Ghost apologize again. She says that Tariq is in trouble with the cops. Ghost doesn't know about this, but Tosh thinks he does.
Yeah.
He suggests Tariq to turn himself in, and Tosh is completely blown away by the idea.
Yeah.
In a bad way. She just loses her shit.
Yeah, like why would you do this to your son? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna let him go ahead and go down for this or whatever? She's like, I'm not saying that. He's like, well, you know, he made a decision like a man, so I think it's time that he starts to accept the responsibility of what he's done. You know, you said it yourself, you know what I'm saying? He tried to stop Keisha. I mean, Keisha tried to stop him. Look what happened to her. Tommy's tried to stop him. Look, nothing's gone with that. You know, I've tried to stop him. You tried to stop him. You know, nothing's apparently has worked for him.
Ghost tells Tosh that he knows that she killed Keisha.
Yes, basically, because she looks at him, she's just like, what? No, I don't know, but she knows that he knows.
And then also Tosh responds with, well, I know you killed Silver.
And she's like, what happens if that blows up?
She should kind of like watch it on that, because last time she said stuff like that, she was pressed against a fridge. And
yeah, she got a nice little finger poke to the forehead. So it's a heated situation between them two, and she basically like looks at him afterwards, and she knows that he's right for the fact that Tariq should go ahead and come forward with that situation because he can help him along with that. And she's just like, oh, I'm tired of you, you know what I mean? And I don't ever want to see you again. And she's getting ready to walk out of the room, and as she's walking out, he yells down the hallway, and he's just like, oh, we'll just make sure my son is at the hotel.
Next we have Ghost in Raina's room where he sees her, and they talk for a while. They give each other a hug, and she asks what's up with him and Mom.
Says like, why does it seem like they're always at each other? He says that she hasn't been the same since she left, since Raina was gone. He's asking her about the situation with Ray Ray and saying like, you know, why did Tariq make you lie? She's like, no, I did that. You know, that was me. He didn't make me do that. I did that.
She also says how, you know, Ghost and Tosh taught her and Tariq, taught him how to lie. Oh, then they also talk about Tariq turning himself in and, you know, taking responsibility for what he's done. Yeah,
because he asks her, he's like, well, so do you think I should go ahead and make Tariq do this? She's like, yeah, you know, he should come forward with what he's done.
And then Ghost gets a text from Tariq saying that Mom said that Ghost wants to see him. Next scene, we have Ghost and Tariq talking at Ghost's spot. Ghost says he was going to cover for Tariq, but things have changed. Tariq gets mad and calls Ghost a liar.
Ghost like, you won't even help me right now in this situation.
Ghost wants him to tell him everything. Tariq flips it and wants Ghost to tell him everything. So Ghost talks about someone named Breeze.
From back in the day. And he's like, yeah, that's the first person I ever killed. And he says, I was about your age. when I did it. You know, it got to a point where I actually gave him another chance. I came to him and asked him one more time, and he refused to do what I asked him to do, so he forced my hand. He had to get removed.
Ghost tries telling Tariq that Tariq's pretty much turning himself in will be good for the whole family. He knows that Tariq could be the man that Ghost knows he can be. Next, we go back to the Department of Justice where Warner and Rodriguez talk to a judge about Ghost and his crimes. This needs to work if they pursue him again.
Yeah, they can't have this be some valiant effort. It needs to be solid.
They go through several different types of evidence that they're trying to tell the judge, and he just chews them out and says next. Several times. But once they pull out the cell phone, it looks like that is more so what the judge wanted.
The judge is kind of like, oh, okay, we might have something here, yeah.
Next scene, we go to jail where a guard gives the burner phone to 2-Bit and he talks to Ghost.
And him and Ghost are on the phone for a minute, and he's like, yeah, you still got my watch? That's what he told him when he first got picked up the phone. He was like, nah, your boy just ratted us out. He was like, nah, that's not my boy, that's your day one. That's who you fucked with, that's your man.
And that Ghost wants him to help him for money and revenge.
Yep.
Next thing we have Rodriguez talking to Paz, and also a separate scene with Rodriguez talking to Tate.
Yeah, it's like this split thing. It was a pretty dope scene how they kept cutting back and forth between them two.
Next we go to the club where Ghost watches from above and Ramona arrives. He compliments her on how great she looks. She kind of wants to be low-key with their relationship, but he just steps in and kisses her.
Yep. He's like, yeah, now it's out in the open.
Next we go to Dre locked up. Rodriguez knows Dre didn't kill Jason. She believes him, but there's footage of him entering the spot. She offers him a deal of 10 years. Dre snaps on doing time for someone he didn't kill.
Yeah, basically he's like, nah, I'm not doing no 10 years for this or whatever. And so she's like, well, you're gonna have to come forward with more information then, you know, for us to make this go away. She's like, if I ask you this question and you say yes, then this could be I can get you out of here right now. But if you say no, then I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do this 10 years or maybe life. And so she's like basically asking him, so did Ghost tell you that he killed Silver? And he was like, no, he didn't. But I was there. And so she's like, okay, so explain it to me. So he's like, oh, well, see, I was there. We were at his spot. And she was like, in the parking garage? She just interrupts and basically he's like starting to feed him information to get him to basically go on the stand and say that against Ghost that he was there and he knows that he killed Silver.
Next thing we have Ghost at the club introducing Tariq to Simon. Tariq asks Ghost if he really wants him to turn himself in. He says yes, and that he will be with him every step of the way.
Yeah, Tariq doesn't look like sold on that. He kind of like, the way he looks when he walks away is kind of like, wrong answer, Ghost.
Yeah. Next thing we have Sax having a drink while Tamika talks to him about Ghost. Sax is like, so Ghost is fucked. And she says more like, no, you're fucked. Sax is looking to go to jail while Ghost is going to walk. He opens a compartment in his room where he picks up a gun and sits on the side of his sofa. He looks like he is contemplating something like, I don't know, maybe suicide?
Something like that.
Next thing we have Ghost walking backstage at Truth and sees Kanan. They point the finger to each other. Kanan says that that's why nobody likes Ghost. Ghost says, you made me the way I am, and if I grew up somewhere else, I'd be in a business school. So I took the long route, but I'm still where I deserve to be.
Yeah, Kanan's like, no, you deserve handcuffs and a needle. And then some kind of explicit word that rhymes with jigga.
And Ghost says that you're not real, you're dead, and I got my son back. Next thing we have Ghost and Ramona talking, and they plan on meeting up at his place later. And they
She's looking like really good right there too.
Oh yeah,
like,
she looks really good.
Skin's glowing and shit.
Yeah, she looks great. And next we have Sax walking down the street with a gun in his hand. We go to Ghost having a drink at his club and also shutting the club down.
Cutting down all the lights and everything.
We go back outside and see Dre riding around and looks pissed.
And we see him walking around and he's strapped.
He's got a gun too, okay. We see Paz and she looks pissed and she's strapped. Then we see Tate in the streets and he's strapped.
He's strapped.
We also see Tariq out in the streets looking like he just came off the subway. And then we also see Tommy.
And guess what, guys?
He's strapped too. And we see Tosh, and she looks like the only one that's not strapped.
She may not.
And then we go to Rodriguez, who we see that she has an arrest warrant in her car, and she seems to be kind of getting closer to the club, like she's about to go in there.
She might be right there, like either outside or you said she just got there. She's about to walk up.
And she gets pretty close where we hear a gunshot. And then we see Ghost falling in super slow Matrix mode, and he got shot in the chest. And that's the episode. So, who has the power?
from what I thought was, like I said, Ghost had the power all the way up until, well, you know, the end, of course.
So out of all the people we just named, who do you think could have shot Ghost? Maybe a top 2, if you had to guess.
Top 2, man.
A top 2 out of...
like we were, Sax looks like he really had the most, like, intention behind what he was about to do. And he looked like he could, between him and Paz, they seem to be the closest to the club, because you actually seen the front of Truth and Sax, and he's not too far away, and you see where Paz is coming from, like an alleyway, and she looks and she's walking. You can see her and Truth are in the same scene with each other. So it seems like they seem to be like they're the 2 closest ones. But I just don't see Paz doing it. Or was only one of them that was ever really going there. You know, maybe it just looked like everybody else was going there, but maybe they were actually going to clean something else up, and they had another idea for something else there. But it definitely looks like, to me, like I said, my top, it's probably Sax. I think it was Sax.
The news is that we get to wait a couple months like bitches, and then whenever it comes back on, I guess we get to watch it whenever they let us.
Yeah, that's how that goes, guys. But that's okay though, you know, it's all right.
Yeah, guys, that is the video. I am Beat is the Rockstar, part of SuperObvious.
I am Words Illah.
And we will make another power video very soon.
Yes.
Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
I just come from the forward.
How long does it take for you to sing like that until someone just like, yo, will you shut the fuck up?
I don't know. Hopefully not very long.
And then you do it a little bit longer just to push it.
Just to push it.